Welcome to the Hardy's Hotline. It's been a minute, but we are back. I am your host, Cammie, the Hooked Hardy.
Hey everybody, I'm Sarah, the hawk-eyed Hardy, and I was rehearsing this because it had been so long, and I realized that I'm pointing at my closed eye this whole time, haven't I? And that makes zero sense. So I'm going to work on that for future podcasts, and then you guys can tell me. No, you think I have to keep pointing at the closed eye?
I mean, it's a thing now.
Well, I mean, that kind of implies that I'm not seeing anything, which really is not really the message I want to be sending. But let me know what you guys think.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Should she just keep going the way she's going? Because obviously she notices things, So did you notice, Sarah, that I am all decked out for the premiere?
I did. And I also, the reason I noticed was because I actually, in preparing for recording, I put on my heart scarf and was like, I could not get it to lay right. And I was like getting all tangled and confused, and I just threw it back on my bed. And
too bad.
Like, I'm not gonna do it. So I'm sorry that I don't match you, but
well, you've got your heart mug.
I do have this heart mug. Fun story. This was my Valentine's gift for my husband, our first Valentine's together when we were dating, and it is still here. However, I will also tell you that all of my actual Hardy's gear I use so often, it has all broken. So I am currently Hardy gearless. If to make an order.
Yes.
So I pulled out the old mug, which by no means I don't use this very special mug very often, but I use the Hardy's stuff like a lot. So
well, you've got Hope Valley. You've got the church behind you, just like I do.
You have my lovely Hope Valley church from my friend Denise, and my lovely Cammie picture that you gave me when we met in person.
Yay. And the Hardy's pillow. And
I do have awesome Coal Valley cuties.
Oh yeah.
Our well-versed fans will know what that is, but some people may not.
We were in a virtual summer camp together that Lee's plaid
pants.
Lee's plaid pants. There we go. The X account now, Lee's plaid pants, they put it on. And so we gathered up a team to be in this virtual summer camp, and we won. So that was our prize. I gotta say, so I put a snake bite with makeup on my hand as one of the challenges. Do you remember that?
I do. I thought you were referring to something you'd done recently, and I'm
no.
Why?
But I had
one of the challenges.
I'm very, very proud of myself. I'm gonna have to get a picture and tweet that out to everybody, because
we should find a few of our old entries from that.
They were good.
My personal favorite, if anybody is a Friends fan, I made the trifle. I made the beef trifle full on. I made the whole thing just to get a photo of it. But we called it a shepherd's pie trifle because that's the connection to When Calls the Heart.
Yep. Yeah, so when Bill gets bitten by the snake and AJ saves him, yeah, I put it on my hand because that was the easiest place to put it. But I hate snakes, and so I had to go back to that part of the episode where he gets bitten, and I was trying to get to a shot of the bite, but not the snake. And that was very difficult, and that is very hard for me, so it was a great personal sacrifice. So
yes.
All right, what are we talking about today? We are talking about the season 11 premiere.
What? Okay. Can you, first of all, can you believe that we're here? Can you believe that Brian always calls it the little show that could. I
A little so
just
that could.
thinking back to just how niche Hallmark seemed back then and how it just didn't seem like I started watching the show and I would mention it to people and like nobody knew what I was talking about. Nobody even realized Hallmark had TV series because it was new.
Right.
And just how far it's come, the ratings it gets, the recognition it gets, people understanding from outside the Hallmark world what that is, even if they don't watch it. It has changed so much. And I do think, it has been a major player in why, or the show has been a reason why Hallmark has become a more major player.
Oh, I 100% agree. Yeah.
It's amazing. And 11 years, I mean, a lot of shows don't make it that far and it's still strong. It's not necessarily the same exact beast it was back in the beginning, but it still has major following. It's still getting good ratings.
Yeah.
It still has the same lead character, same lead actress.
That is definitely true.
and that usually changes in a lot of shows. I mean, only one totally, like there's a couple major players that you could say that for, but most are not. Most shows that make it very far are having a rotating cast quite a bit more than we do.
And there's still a handful of people that have been there since season 1. You got
I was just thinking about that.
You got Mike, you got Ned, you got Florence, you got Molly, you got Henry, and then of course Elizabeth. Bill came
in the season
end of season 1, but he has been there since season 1.
He has been there since season 1.
We'll count him.
Also Rosemary did come in season 1.
Yes, she did come in season 1.
And lastly, Emily.
Yes.
That's the last one that I had on my list.
I completely missed Emily. Oh, shame on me. Okay, so season 11, episode 1, When Stars Align. I already have a question of the day for you, Sarah.
Oh, goody. Here we go.
Oh, goody. Why is that title so fitting?
Because of the eclipse.
Yeah.
That was my theory. I felt like they had to sort of timed that, just knowing that would be.
I didn't know if it was timed.
Well, maybe not, but if not,
perfectly.
If not, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, think about it. Remember the chickenpox epidemic that aired during lockdown, and we were all like, "Whoa, what?"
Right.
So now this episode airs the night before the huge solar eclipse. By the way, I was in the total path of totality. It was beautiful. It was awesome. Fabulous.
I know. I'm so jealous. We did not get a show up here in Washington State. And we're not scheduled to on the next big one.
I know. I'm sorry. But Hardee's, it was so much fun. One of my best friends from college, he and his wife came all the way from Washington. And I even called them and I said, listen, you guys, it's supposed to be cloudy. The weather is saying that it's going to be cloudy the entire time. I don't know if you want to come down here. Maybe you should stay in Oklahoma. And they were so sweet. They said, no, we want to see you guys. We don't want to change our plans. And I said, okay. And the clouds parted, literally. And I just went, wow. So we got the total show and it was completely worth it. So yeah. Awesome. Dodge that bullet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple different things. They have at times very much looked at when things were scheduled to air. Yeah. Now I know they don't always know the exact date back when they're writing, but they know the approximate season. that things will happen. And we are scheduled to have a Easter episode. I don't know if you've heard that. There is supposed to be like an Easter egg hunt, which is the first time they've done that on this show. And quite honestly, the first time they've done much of any sort of celebration other than their Christmas movies.
It's true.
So it's very exciting to have that. And it is going to take place fairly close to Easter in real life. So that's...
Well, Easter was too early this year, so that's not their fault.
Well, yeah, they probably looked at the calendar and figured out. They were just like, oh, it'll be right in there. This was like the earliest Easter egg. Don't get me on my soapbox about that.
Oh,
anyway, next week we're back in April, or next year we're back in April for Easter.
Yes.
I'm much happier.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I thought that was very fitting that I was watching the episode named When Stars Align, the morning of the eclipse. And after it was done, almost, about an hour later, we went to go. We went to go and watch it. All right. Awesome. So let's jump right in. Okay. Yes. So here was my boom hot take from the previews.
Like that. Yeah. The beginning part.
When I heard Bill say Lucas doesn't remember a thing, and then hearing that he got shot in the leg, I thought, why? But then they fixed it. But my first thought was, how do you get shot in the leg and have amnesia? Not getting this, but he doesn't remember anything from that night, which is totally fitting. He got a knock to the head, so he doesn't remember who his shooter was. But yeah, I was just like, And
so, and it did kind of come together for me. My impression is that he maybe fell and hit his head after getting shot, potentially. But also I want to ask, and maybe this is me having my eye closed when I'm watching. They said he was shot twice. They found the second bullet, but they said they removed the first bullet from his leg. I never actually heard confirmation of where the second bullet hit.
I am pretty sure. I could be wrong. Parties, correct me if I'm wrong. But I am pretty sure that both bullets were in the leg.
Okay.
I think he was shot in the leg twice.
I just gotta say, this is like a really crappy assassin. I mean, the way they're making
supposed to be. Was he supposed to be? I mean,
were
they trying to kill him?
Maybe, but we have theories, right? We have theories, Montague, right? We have theories that, Governor Balfour could be involved. Like, there's theories.
Yeah.
But if it's one of them as a mastermind behind things, they know how he works. They know that he can lie to your face, and like Lucas played them.
Yeah.
And pulled it out and was very tough and was very, like, there is no reason to think like shooting him in the leg is going to deter him. It's not.
So bad assassin, dumb assassin.
Thus, we as the audience do know that whoever it was someone he had met before. We do know that.
Yes.
He is not saying that, but we know that based on his reaction in the finale, he recognized the person. So if you are going to shoot him, the governor, current governor, you're shooting them in the leg when you know they know you is also
bad idea.
Really a bad idea. And I'm just like really torn. So I feel like they were intending to kill him, but I don't know. It's very, that is the part that confused me the most, because I'm like, this guy just recognized you. You're not taking him out.
So I do have something that could help with that.
Okay.
Lucas dodged. he saw the gun come out and he's got those quick reflexes and he ducked for cover and hit his head.
Okay, I like that.
Okay,
he is very smart, so I can go with that. I can work with that.
Excellent.
Thank you for giving me some peace of mind there. I'm like, this person is so stupid. Okay, so since we're doing theories on the gunshots, here's my big question for you.
Okay.
Does Lucas really have amnesia? I have suspicion. I nothing founding, but like I wonder.
He seems sincere when he says to Lee and Rosemary, I don't remember anything from that night. He seems sincere, but as we know, Lucas, I'm not talking about Chris McNally, Lucas is a good actor, because Lucas fools people. So,
side note, we do think Chris McNally is a great actor. That's not what we're talking about.
We're talking about the character here.
Like Chris, not Chris, but look, both of them good actors. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Right now, I'm not 100% on board with Edwin.
Really?
I'm not 100%.
Oh.
Edwin just has sparked the teensiest bit of suspicion with me.
Huh.
Just, like, I mean, think about it. He worked for Balfour.
Yeah.
He pretty quickly just was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm going with you. We didn't see a lot of discussion. He just put his hat in and said, hey, yeah, I'd really like, I feel like this, I'd love to work with you. There wasn't a lot of discussion there. So that is a little odd. It would be a smart move to like send your man in.
Yeah.
Or even not to be sent by him, but just on his own to be like, I better play this right so I don't get arrested and I don't, I'm not out of a job. If Lucas is suspicious of Edwin at all, or if Lucas does remember something and that either it was Edwin or it was somebody that then sparked his recollection of being suspicious of Edwin, based on a lot of past episodes, I could see him taking it upon himself to lay it close to the vest, as I believe he has said on other occasions. And once or twice, and just play it slow and see where it goes and see if he can trap somebody and take them down. That is definitely his MO when he's placed in situations like this.
I mean, wow.
Probably seeing more there than there is, but I just want to throw that out there.
I guess I'm too trusting. I never suspected Edwin for a second. So wow. I never even thought about Edwin being the shooter. That's wow.
I honestly think that, so one, he seemed, the thing, okay, we can get into it more later, but there were a few different times when his reaction seemed just a touch off what I would expect. Doesn't mean it was wrong.
Would you be referring to the time when he was on the phone with Elizabeth?
That was one of them.
Okay.
That was one of them. I felt like it was very odd that he at first seemed extremely forthcoming with information, like he was treating her like the significant other of his boss, and then immediately was like, gotta go, without him. Like, the doctor's here to tell you what's going on. Maybe say yes and then tell her. I there was just some weirdness there. The joke later about sending a letter to thank the shooter for the publicity seemed just a touch off, and also the way that Lucas responded to that comment seemed slightly different than what I would expect from Lucas. And then his reaction with Gowan. Granted, you could see somebody being uncomfortable with bringing in a convicted felon into a political office. But it almost seemed personal, like a nervousness.
Wow.
And if you were Lucas and you were suspecting somebody on the inside might be trying to set you up and take you down,
you would bring a friend in.
I would bring Gowan in.
Gowan knows a thing or two about sniffing out suspicious characters because he was one for a while.
Yeah. And on a side note, I love Lucas and Gowan's relationship. I have just since sometime last year that I was just like, oh, I love their little friendship. One more thing also, Edwin is wearing a wedding ring. Notice that too. Very interested to know more about that. Don't know why, but I was like, did not notice that last season.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
Montague and Balfour are holding the family hostage, and they are making Edwin do all of these terrible things, like shooting Lucas and getting all of the inside information so that he can keep his family safe.
That's an even better reason for Lucas to keep quiet and pretend he has amnesia. I love it.
Party's hotline after dark.
It's like, ooh, here's the like weird version of When Calls the Heart over here. Or we've got all these conspiracy theories, and I really like it though.
If any of this is true and it comes to fruition, I'm gonna laugh. I'm just gonna laugh because I don't even want to say how many times in the last couple of years I've been wrong.
I had a couple big ones last year
too,
but they were big. I don't really remember what they are right now, but
you weren't on the podcast at the time, but my big one that I said called it was Nathan was supposed to lead the squad and Jack took his place somehow.
If Edwin is in any way connected to this,
I will concede. I will concede. Moving
on. Okay, so moving on from that. There's our big conspiracy theory of the night. I'll probably have one every episode.
Knowing you would not surprise me. Okay, so I will say I'm going back to kind of the acting and directing side of things. The camera angle, the shot of Lucas opening his eyes and taking that shot from his point of view. I thought that was a very, very effective shot, and I have not seen that in a while. The perspective of somebody, yes, but actual opening of eyes, I have not seen that in a while.
No.
So that was a good one.
Don't know when the last time I saw it was, but I remember when I saw this one, I thought, wow, that was done in a much more realistic fashion. And I really appreciated how Chris did act that, because so many people act scenes like that, even just waking up in the morning, where it's like they just wake up and they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And he really did seem to be like groggy and out of it, like having trouble opening his eyes, and like it was well done.
Yeah.
Very believable.
And then a 4-month time jump.
What? Your favorite thing?
They're sparing all of the awkward conversations. Okay, but so talk about my theories being wrong. When I heard on the preview, Lucas doesn't remember anything, I thought that's how they were sparing him any knowledge that he'd been dumped by Elizabeth. And so I thought that that's how the season was going to start.
Oh
that
man, that
Lucas didn't remember,
Ugh.
that Lucas got shot close to the head and didn't remember anything about the triangle, about falling in love with Elizabeth, about proposing to her, about getting dumped on the train platform. I thought that they were wiping it all from his memory, at least for
oh
the first
man,
couple of episodes. So
that would have
that would
wow.
have been interesting.
But funnily enough, that's so parallel to when Nathan got hurt last season and
But
pretended that he didn't remember.
Yeah, he pretended that he didn't remember.
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that they did not go that route. I will say it is so hard to film something or to write something. I can't, like, I don't know what would have been perfect. Like in my mind, I was like, what do I want to see? I don't even know really how I wanted them to kind of pick up there.
Yeah.
I am glad, in some ways, I'm glad that we didn't have to watch all those awkward first reactions.
I mean, can you imagine? Wake up, Lucas, wake up, wake up. Hi. What are you doing here? We broke up.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad that we didn't see it. I am also really glad that we saw some of the things we did. I'm glad that we saw her take little Jack to see him in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because regardless of where they are with their relationship, he has a relationship with little Jack, and little Jack cares about him, and he cares about little Jack. And so I can imagine that being very healing for Lucas when he's going through that, to still be able to have that connection
Yeah.
on some level. And I was glad that they still kind of showed that. I was glad that little Jack made those comments about, like,
Did Mountie Nathan catch the bad guy?
Catch the bad guy that hurt my buddy. Like, it's good that they're not shying away from addressing that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that it will be addressed more in some ways. I've heard comments that, like, they're not avoiding that and ignoring it. It is real to life. If you're gonna still be around in the life of someone that you broke up with, which you would be if you live in such a small town.
But he's not supposed to be living there for a while. He's the governor now. So
no, but he has a grand vision.
He has a grand vision.
And it is starting in Hope Valley.
The grand vision for a better future. So let's talk about this plan. This plan for a grand future. I mean, it's kind of intriguing, and
it's super intriguing.
It's a little on the brilliant side to build a whole bunch of resorts and vacation areas, bring tourists and a lot of business to the whole territory that you are the governor of. It's a little
and
brilliant.
Then the profit goes back to the people.
Yeah,
some of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
a percentage.
It's pretty amazing. It's amazing to me that he can just, like, have this vision and put it into place and just do it. Like, it sounds so easy. Like, wow, you don't have to, like, get approval from it. Like, you're just, I mean, wow.
Who's gonna go against a guy who just got assassinated? Not he didn't die, but it was an assassination attempt. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Right.
But yeah, it's what Elizabeth just said in the hospital too. He has so much to give.
He does.
And it's pretty amazing.
It's
they really have created a character that is very admirable and noble, which is so intriguing to me because of just, like, how he started, and, like, so mysterious, and nobody knew if we could trust him. And
yeah,
it's very cool to have watched his arc, like, just his personal arc.
And now he's the go-to guy to trust.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
I loved Lucas's insistence on supporting anything Hope Valley, namely Valley Voice.
Valley Voice.
Edwin did not seem to think that was a good idea.
Nope.
He seemed to question that a bit. And Lucas just,
you are not gonna leave this alone.
Well, I'm just demonstrating that this feeling of mine was from several different things. It wasn't just like one time there was a scene and I was like, I feel a little weird about him. It was like every time I saw him, there was something that didn't sit right.
Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough.
That's why I'm so suspicious. So if anything, I just wouldn't be hiring the guy. Come on.
So I was not expecting to talk about this character in this light. Fiona's gone.
Especially knowing that Elizabeth's going to change her hair in this episode. It is a rather surprising turn of events. So, yeah.
I mean, that was such a shock to me because I had not heard about her new role.
Right. And I don't know timelines of all of that. I don't know if she started filming.
No.
I don't remember exactly when the announcement came out that she had that new role on the new Paramount Plus show.
It was such a shock. The first thing out of my mouth was, why is she quitting? Why? She's engaged to Kevin McGarry. Why would she have to quit the show?
Yeah.
But then I learned, oh, she is starting a new project.
New project. Very exciting. Really big role. It is called Landman. It's gonna be set in West Texas, Cammie. I don't know where they're filming, but it's set in Texas. But the timing, I hadn't heard, obviously. I don't think anybody had really heard a confirmation on if she would be in the season or not. But we had heard confirmation on so many people returning, and the fact that we hadn't heard it from her, I was wondering. But with the haircut being an obvious thing from season 11, from all the promos.
Yeah.
I was thinking at least that they would say her character cut it, even if they didn't show her. So I was, so that was a little bit surprising. I was really nervous there for a while that Robert was going to be cutting it.
I mean, if you can't fix it, feature it. The fact that they did it that way, I'm like, I'm taking a correspondence course. I'd be happy to cut your hair. Good for you. Goodbye.
Yeah. And I just hope he doesn't take it. Like, he didn't even seem to get that she didn't want him to do it. No. So I hope he doesn't take it personally that she had Rosemary do the hair cutting. Which also doesn't surprise. Again, back then, I feel like a lot of women
knew how to do women's hair.
At least to a certain extent. And the fact that Rosemary was in show business, it just doesn't surprise me that she would have that skill.
Well, and Rosemary knows how to do everything else. So why not? Why not do the hair cutting? Actually, I remember when she first shows up to Hope Valley, she says, "Oh, you've been cutting your own hair again. Good thing I brought my scissors."
She was going to cut Jack's hair. That's exactly true. So she is definitely, we have a lot to say about her, but I will say she's probably the person who has had the second most jobs in Hope Valley.
Probably. Yeah. I know how to make a woman beautiful, more beautiful. Can we just talk about that scene for a second?
That was the perfect scene, like between best friends. I loved that scene.
I have got to say how hard I laughed. So, ready to take the plunge? Rosemary, Nathan just got home. I don't know if he even still has feelings for me. I meant your hair. Oh, yeah.
What I loved about it was the stuff everybody would love about it. But then Rosemary was not surprised by that at all. This was not news to her.
No.
She knew exactly what's on Elizabeth's mind.
Of course she did.
There was zero reaction even. You know, season 3 Rosemary would have been like, whoa, we gotta talk about this. But then also, I love that she dropped it. She told her she meant the hair. Elizabeth went back to the hair, and she just went back to the hair. She's like, yep, you're ready to talk about this. That's okay. It's obviously on your mind because you were the one bringing it up, not me. But
you did it.
That was you. But taking her cues and following her lead.
For once.
She's mellowing as a mother.
So much.
I mean, you know, not when it comes to the mothering itself. Oh my gosh, she turned, that was walking. She's a genius.
She also is not mellow when it comes to being scooped. But before we get to that, I just want to say how much I enjoyed, once again, the camera shot of Elizabeth being the camera, walking in, and everybody seeing her, everybody seeing her for the first time, and the camera and the audience watching their reactions from that perspective.
Totally.
It's exactly what happened in the season 10 finale when Henry shows up to Abigail's house. And we had a fit about that, if you remember.
Even though that was done for more of a purpose because they didn't have the actress.
But it was the perfect way to do it.
It was the perfect way to do that. No, absolutely.
And so why not use it again? And they used it twice in the same episode, and both times it worked. It was not out of place. It worked really, really well. So whoever had the ideas to do those 2 shots, kudos to you. I'm not taking off my hat because then I'd have hat hair. So, but yes, I loved that they used the camera to be her, and we could get everything from her perspective with such a change.
Yes. And it's a fun way to do a reveal.
Yeah, it is.
To see everybody else's reactions before you get to react.
For somebody who it would honestly be a reveal to them, it was a good reveal.
It was great. So speaking of a few things you mentioned there, I have a list of the things that we learned in this episode that Rosemary dislikes.
Oh my. Getting scooped is one of them.
A long list. The first one is being scooped. Number 2, Randall Rockwell. Which we knew, I don't think we knew his full name before. I know that we knew she didn't like the Benson Beetle, but I don't remember.
She didn't like the Benson Hills Beetle. But okay, so saying that she does not like Randall Rockwell, going back to the friendship in the haircutting scene, Elizabeth, take that, Randall Rockwell.
I know, that was so cute.
Perfect little insert, you know?
And especially because you can tell that Elizabeth has a lot on her mind in that moment. And it would have been very easy for her to have totally kind of missed the cues of what Rosemary was saying and be kind of wrapped up in her world. And to pick up on it and jump in with something that was meaningful and cute and friendly and supportive all at the same time. Very much. It was a very good friendship scene. Okay. Rosemary's dislikes: being scooped, Randall Rockwell, poor writing, misplaced modifiers, Nathan talking to other reporters, cribbing of official statements, taking no for an answer, and finally, rugs.
Rugs.
She did not like that rug.
Well, no. She was taking out her anger. Remember, she was sorry.
I know, but she
was petting the poor rug.
She realized what she was doing, yes.
And speaking of the rug scene,
oh my gosh, Elizabeth was hilarious.
So
Do you know what? It reminded me of the baseball episode when she was like trying to do some baseball moves.
So even after 10 years on the frontier, we still have a little bit of the prissy city girl in our midst. She's not totally gone.
No, not totally.
I have to say that moment where she does the little hop kick while she's hitting that very lightly, uh, that really did take me by surprise. We have not seen her be delicate physically. I mean, obviously she handles situations very delicately, but
Yes.
we have not seen her be physically delicate with anything besides her son. You know, and it was just, it took me totally by surprise. This woman has galloped across the prairie in search for people and in the rush of an emergency, blah, 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 blah. But she still hops when she, quote unquote, beats the rug.
I also just want to say how I loved just the physical humor of the fact that this huge cloud of dust came out of it when she did that. She like barely I'm like, man, your rug is dirty.
How much mud has little Jack been bringing into the house to make his castles? That's all I gotta ask.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh goodness. On the subject of Rosemary, I again, not with the conspiracy theory, but with my love of mysteries, I am really loving how much she is just like the next Nancy Drew. She is so, she just like is a little investigator. And from things I've heard, this is going to be kind of a theme throughout at least part of the season.
Yeah.
Is her trying to investigate this, probably mostly with Bill.
Yeah.
And I just find that dynamic so fun.
The capture of Pike, that did seem too easy. You could just see Bill going,
But then he also lets slip. Well, then the real shooter, like, to be fair, he's not really covering this up very well.
No, he's not. He's not covering it up very well. But that brings me to my favorite line of the episode. Bill, this is your office.
I feel like she's said that either to him before or has said very similar things to other people in this overall the seasons. I feel like she just chases people out of their space quite a bit.
And then wonders where they're going.
Where are you going?
Oh my goodness. Okay, while we're on the subject of the Coulters, Lee being the same old wonderful Lee and trying to keep a low profile and be anonymous. Oh, please no. And then, I mean, I love seeing Lee as a daddy. I love seeing Lee as a daddy. It's
so great. Obviously, the scene where she started walking was amazing. And I love that they wrote that with both of them there with her. But also the scene when they were on the phone with Lucas and he just starts jabbering. He was just being polite.
But Lucas even said, I can't wait to see her again. I mean, that's...
And they brought Goldie all the way to Union City to see him.
Yes, they did.
Which I think just really goes to show, like, they really have...
Capital City.
Capital City.
Yeah.
Capital City. Yes.
Dora Watson is going.
Yeah, no, I just said it wrong.
Yeah, Dora Watson is going to Union City, though. So you had it right for one character.
Yeah, no, I knew somebody went there. But yes, the fact that they are all such close friends and the fact that they're all going to still remain friends regardless of what happened with relationships. They're all still there for him. They're all still wanting to show support.
Yeah.
And to work together. And that's going both ways. It is very clear that Lucas has no ill will towards any of Elizabeth's friends or Elizabeth. Like I'm sure there's lots of feelings, but I mean, here Lee was supposed to be the best man in his wedding already. You know, yes. when you're having these scenes 4 months later, like that wedding should have already taken place. There's gotta be feelings there. And so the fact that they're able to work together and still be really friendly and still really show support for one another, it just goes back to the whole meaning of the show.
Yeah, very true. We are Hope Valley.
They are a community, and they're stronger together. And that, and I go back to that really truly is what Lucas wanted. Like, the part of me that was really sad about them breaking up was because of all the conversations he had about growing up and not feeling like part of a family and not having
a home
and people that surrounded him and a place that he could depend upon people. And that, so in my head, I was like, oh no, he's losing that because they're breaking up. But what I'm seeing in this episode really is that he hasn't lost that. Mm-hmm. He really truly has those people that he can depend on that will always be there for him.
Very true.
So that was really nice to see, and I hope all the Lucas fans appreciated that.
You know, I was watching a little bit of the marathon that they were doing on Hallmark Family. But while I was watching the marathon, I came upon episode 2 in season 6 when Lucas shows up for the first time. And then watching episode 3 when they're talking about doing the noise and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And nice. How Abigail says, we take care of our own here, and that now includes you. It's really nice to see that they are still taking care of him because he's one of them. And funny enough, a quote from Jane Austen popped into my head. This is from Emma. Emma's father is begging her not to do any more matchmaking because marriage is so disruptive to one's social circle. And so is the breaking off of a wedding. And it's very nice to see that, like you said, everyone is still there. Everyone is still going to support both of them. Everyone is going to do everything they can to take care of Lucas physically, emotionally, and politically because he's one of them and we are Hope Valley.
Well, and I almost think that that's a really smart reason why they probably did the time jump where they did, because you can kind of skip over that uncomfortable piece and then show the triumph, show how they're getting back to what they need to be doing,
right,
and being happy, and not show just the slogging through all the slow building back of that stuff. And like Elizabeth, like being able to in episode 1 hear Elizabeth say, I'm happy, I know I did the right thing. She probably wasn't saying that on day 1, you know.
Probably not, especially hearing that he got shot.
Right. I mean, you just have to, even if you're sure that was the right decision, you would feel guilty about the timing of it and all of that. So I think that would have been really tough as viewers to have to watch like a couple episodes of them like getting through that nitty-gritty of like moving past the tough emotions. And I think it just makes more sense to start fresh.
Fresh start for spring.
There you go.
Okay, so another quote from the episode. We are Hope Valley. We've said it a couple of times. Who said it? Who said it? Who said it? Who said it? Come on, come on.
Mike?
It was Faith. So this was a very poignant episode for Faith.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that I noticed was actually not from Faith herself. It's the fact that Minnie, of all people, didn't know what to say to her.
Oh, yeah.
When Minnie is so down on herself, she said, I didn't know how to help Faith. And that was bothering her so much because Faith is so saddened that May is now busy in a relationship with
distracted. So distracted.
She said busy at one point. I heard it. And now Fiona is gone. And Minnie didn't know what to say to comfort her. And of course, Joseph, being the ever wise pastor,
Knew exactly what to say to comfort her.
Knew exactly what to say to comfort her. Like sometimes your presence is enough. But she did it.
Yeah.
She did it. She just sat with her. And it gave Faith the opportunity to admit, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
I see my friends making all of these huge decisions and making these big moves in their lives, and I'm sitting here all alone. It
is so hard. It's so interesting because, I forget, I always mess up the saying, but the whole it goes down to you can't walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. You don't ever know. But I'm thinking it's more like that saying about everybody's fighting a battle that you can't see. Everybody's got stuff going on in their life that you don't know about.
Right.
And you never know what is going to trigger somebody or affect somebody. And if we didn't know this storyline was coming. This wasn't publicized that this was going to be a big thing this year, which it clearly is. I would have said going into this season that Faith is in a great place. She just, she just became a doctor a couple of years ago. And now this last year, she made this big stand about separating from the town and being her own private practice and really making these making big decisions in her life and making great strides in her profession. And really, Fiona is off fighting for women's rights when right here in town we have a female private practice doctor doing pretty darn well for herself.
And a female pharmacist.
And we had a female mayor, and when you just look at what Faith has accomplished, it's quite amazing in any time, but in that time especially, it is remarkable.
It is.
And so from the outside looking in, people often don't realize what's going on internally for different people. And so I think that was really a poignant way to say, I have all these things going for me and I'm so grateful for them, but that doesn't mean that I don't also feel this way about this.
And that so everything's perfect in my life.
Yeah. I still have things that make me sad, and I still have things that I don't know how to address or work on or feel better about, because we're all human. We all have different wants and desires and needs. And to one person that might not be a big deal, and to someone else it might be. And so I found that really interesting. And I loved that. It's a TV show, right? So they're going to set us up with, she's feeling lonely right before, wow, this child plops into her lap.
I was just going to say, they give her away.
It's amazing how that works. But I do love that when it was set up, it was just a very generic loneliness. It was not, I want a man, I want to get married, I want to date somebody. It was not like looking for something specific. It really was just a generic, like, I need something personal in my life.
And then in walks this little purpose who is going to, apparently, I mean, what we can see, it's giving Faith a reason to be around. It's giving Faith a reason to not be lonely. And what Minnie said to her, I thought was so poignant. You may feel lonely, but you're never alone. And that tiny little golden haired Lily is going to be proof of that. You can tell. You can tell that the evidence is right there in that
in that tiny little package.
In that tiny little package, and she is precious.
She is. And big shout out. I looked up her Instagram account and she is adorable. You guys got to follow her, Chloe McKinnon. She's awesome.
Oh,
the cutest little posts. And she had the best little hearty party for the premiere night with her brother. It was very cute. Very, very cute. So I look forward to seeing where she goes this season.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of adorable, let's go to the newest couple in Hope Valley.
He's come a long way, and I love that he is one of the ones from season 1. Like, we have this little tiny list of people that has been around the entire show, and he is one of them. And from the very beginning, like, he didn't have a first name. He did, like, people still this year can't spell his last name.
It has taken him 10 years to become a main Hope Valley character. He's been a fan favorite. He's been a fan favorite for years.
Since season 1.
Yes, he's been a fan favorite for years, but it has taken him years to become a main Hope Valley character. I mean, I just think it's about time.
He's such a fun person, and he also behind the scenes does so much for the show and for promoting it with fans. And he does a lot of like charity work. He's a very active person. He's very in touch with the fans. Really great guy. One of the judges in our lovely contest.
Yes, that's that.
So in a way, that's from Ben. Not entirely, but
and dating the leading lady, it doesn't ever hurt.
It probably never hurts.
Nuh-uh.
It probably never hurts. But no, he's just such a great guy on and off camera.
And it's about time.
And we're just really happy to see. This is who I was referring to earlier. Because Hickam once again has now done another job in Hope Valley. He's now doing scalp massages. I mean, this man can do it all. Yeah. I don't remember what nickname we gave him last year, but we were definitely talking about how he was like the jack of all trades.
Yeah, and something like really that.
Had just done everything with his calisthenics classes. But
he added something to the list.
He added something to the list, and there's nothing like trying to help out your girlfriend to get you.
Can we say, oh my gosh, how adorable is it? He's bringing her lunch. She's obviously overwhelmed, and he said, well, then that's what I'm here for. Oh, Mike.
We've been asking since about season 3. I think it's probably season 3-ish was when all the fans started saying like, we need to get him a girlfriend. Yeah. Like, let's find somebody for Mike. And this is why, because he's the sweetest boyfriend ever.
A perfect bike for a perfect person. Oh.
Okay,
Michael Hickam.
So since we're using last names, Bill Avery, what on earth got into you making that comment to them?
Look at you two, like an old married couple. Oh,
of every single person in Hope Valley, Bill knows better than anyone what May just went through with Jeffrey. Literally, he probably knows more details than Nathan knows about that.
Probably.
That, I mean, oh, Bill. Oh, Bill.
Bad Bill. Bad Bill.
Bad Bill. Bad Bill.
Hashtag bad Bill.
Bad Bill. Really was just completely uncalled for. So my question of the day, there have been confirmed information that there is a wedding this season. My money's on Mike and May, but what do you think?
That would be where my money would be. But I mean,
and especially with them throwing that comment in here in a completely unprovoked environment. Yeah. Why would they be hinting at that if they're not going to then have a lead up, have a conversation, work through it?
But here's the big thing. They are the only people who it could possibly happen to, because there is not going to be an Elizabeth and Nathan wedding this season. You know that.
I mean, in my brain, there is not. It almost makes it seem too easy this time that it would be Mike and May. So it just makes me wonder who else it could be that we're not seeing it coming. Maybe it's not even, well, no, maybe it's not a new wedding. Maybe the Canfields renew their vows, or something unexpected where it's still technically a wedding, but it's not.
I mean, Faith hasn't even met anybody yet, so
yeah. No, and with her having the storyline with Lily, I don't see her even dating this season.
No, I don't either. So yeah, my money would be on Mike and May, on M&M.
Ooh, I haven't heard them referred to as that. That's nice.
You haven't?
No, I've really not been on social media a lot.
I did not make it up. I thought I did. I thought I did, but no, I did not make it up. I thought of it independently, but I did not make it up. So, I was not the first one, I should say. Anyway, yeah, Mike and May are precious. And I have even heard Ben Rosenbaum say in an interview, this is Hickam's romance season. He said it flat out.
Well, yeah, he needs it.
This is his season for romance. The man's finally getting a little bit of encouragement. I'm waiting for the you're it. I'm waiting for that scene.
They're just so sweet, and they both really deserve it. Yeah, they do. Okay, so real quick, really quick predictions on this. So if they are the ones that get married, I hope that we see all of Hickham's sisters come into town for the wedding. I think it would be hilarious if they are all like really famous Hallmark ladies. I think that would be so cool.
That would be priceless.
That would be just hilarious. And number 2, I had the weirdest idea pop into my head, and I just have to throw it out there for all the world to hear my craziness, is I think one of his sisters should be JC Elliott.
Really?
And that she could have like a recurring role. And I don't know why, but I just it popped in there, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she needs to be on the show. And I don't know why.
You know what
But
would be absolutely hysterical?
hmm,
With the announcement of 2 new Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies coming out,
mm,
to have Kristen Booth be one of his sisters.
that would be very cute. That would be very cute.
That would be classic.
That would be very cute. If they got married, what would happen for their wedding? And then I was like, wow, he has a lot of sisters. We need to see the sisters.
That would be really funny.
It could be there could be some really, really funny scenes with like a whole gaggle of Hickams.
Yeah, that would be something.
So anyway, that I
All
just had to
right.
throw that. That'd be fun.
Yes, necessary. All right. So to end up the anti-hero hero.
The hero, the legend, the lawman.
The one who says, I'm not a hero. Gee, it sounds like another Mountie we know. Oh my gosh. Can I just say, I was getting a lot of Jack vibes from Nathan because of 2 things. Number 1, the sigh when he sees the Hope Valley Water Tower. That's exactly what Jack would have done.
Yeah.
And just the, I'm home. And then the, I'm not a hero. Jack constantly was saying it,
Yeah.
not as angry. Nathan was a little annoyed. I'm not a hero. But Jack was constantly saying, I was just doing my job. I was just doing my job. I did what I had to do. And
Yeah.
so those 2 things, I was getting some serious Jack vibes
Yeah.
from Nathan.
And I would also say just throughout the whole episode, I felt like there were lots of callbacks. They were minor, but
Yeah.
there were lots. And I think that's important, especially in a season premiere of a long running series, to have a few things to really, help everyone feel the consistency, the continuity of the show. I thought that was really nice. I saw it a lot with Nathan with the Jack stuff, but also with Elizabeth, by Lucas's bedside. Obviously, that happened with Jack in season 3, and there were lots of very similar lines. Some of the lines that she was saying with Bill by the bedside about it not being fair was practically word for word from season 3. I don't think it was with her. It sounded like lines from Abigail and Charlotte, maybe one of their conversations about things being fair.
Charlotte is the one who said it would be terrible.
It was Charlotte with Elizabeth.
Yeah. It would be terrible to lose 2 men because of their courage, which ended up happening. But we're not going to go there because I'm not going to cry.
No, but yes, that would be I just found that throughout the whole episode there were some really great callback scenes and lines.
Yeah, and you know what I really enjoyed seeing was seeing Nathan and Bill really talk as lawmen. I mean, Bill even said it, lawman to lawman. What's going on? And he says, we'll talk later. And obviously, Nathan is not feeling right about this. This is not sitting well with him. He doesn't believe that Pike did it, which he shouldn't. And he asked to keep the investigation open, and they all turned him down. And so he's the one who puts it in Bill's head to go and request the file. I thought, ooh, clever.
Yeah, crazy that Bill hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, clever Nathan's coming out. All right. I do have to say one thing about Nathan, and that was said by a fellow castmate. Ben Rosenbaum said on X, get you a man who looks at you the way Nathan looks at Elizabeth during an alignment of planets.
It's a little specific, but true.
But the fact, I mean, they did the whole
the back and before.
They did it. I mean, it was totally
That
there.
was great and a great way to end the episode.
But it's totally true. You got this natural phenomenon happening, and he's not looking at the sky.
No, totally. I also, my other favorite scene was when he like tripped over the plants when he was because he was too busy looking at her.
And he was very, very needing to bring Scout back before he gets halfway to Buxton.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that he just happened to be wandering by their house yelling out for Scout. I feel like that may have been
boys, ready?
Slightly
okay,
right.
boys, ready? Squirrel.
Have I told a story? There was a time when I didn't know my husband well. I was house sitting next door from where he lived, and I got home really late at night, and I forgot to water the plants at the house I was house sitting for. And it was really late. And so I was like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to do it tomorrow. That, you know, they'll be fine. Right. And then I saw Steve's truck getting home next door. And I was like, you know what? I should really go out and water the plants at 11:30 at night. Because it's my job. I'm here to house sit and take care of things. So I really should just go out.
Oh, you dirty Van Nasty.
And I did go outside and water the plants. And he did come over and talk to me. So
bravo.
It was a decision I had to make in the moment. Like, how important are these plants?
I mean, Will can tell you a million times when he just happened to be in the neighborhood. He drove an hour to get in the neighborhood, but he was in the neighborhood.
Then he was just in the neighborhood. Then he was there. So totally true fact. We have to wrap this up. It's really late. Any huge predictions for season 11?
Does it count if I already have heard that it's been confirmed?
You're like, there's a wedding. That's my prediction.
Nope. I predict that Nathan and Elizabeth are gonna kiss this season.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna go on the same token, because I've heard this confirmed as well. I confirm that an old guest star will be on this season.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who it is. I have some hunches. I've heard that whoever this guest star is, that it is difficult for Elizabeth.
It's Tom Thornton.
The rumor I've heard the most is Tom Thornton.
Are you serious?
I've heard I don't know if that's not confirmed. The confirmation was that it would be someone from the past who's been on the show before, and that there's some sort of a confrontation or difficult emotions with Elizabeth.
That would be a good one.
Tom Thornton is definitely the front runner in the theories I've heard online. You know, there's you know, people saying Charlotte. I you know, who knows? After many years, Brooke Shields may want to come back at some point. It could even just another one that we've longed for a few years now is Elizabeth's dad. That could still, even with it being her dad who she loves, that could still create lots of tough conversations.
Emotional.
Very emotional. And, you know, we haven't seen him as a grandfather. He could be very protective and wanting her to come back home after another failed relationship. He very much might not love the idea of her getting together with another Mountie. You know, I mean, that really would open up a ton of conversations. It absolutely could be Terrell coming back as Lucas's mother. That
would be a tough one.
That would be a tough one, and really would be a great person to have on the show again, to see her with Lucas.
And I just love Terrell. I just
loved her, and so that would be great. And Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely lots of it. It could even be Julie again.
Yeah.
There could be lots of different confrontational things, but it's gonna be interesting. And again, I love when they bring somebody back, no matter
Yes.
what.
Callbacks
It's
are
great
always a good
to have
thing.
callbacks. It's great to have continuity. In real life, you would have people that showing up sometimes.
Yeah.
So it is really nice. So I'm really thrilled that we get at least one big callback guest star.
Yay.
So that'll be fun.
All right, Hearties. Well, tell us your predictions for season 11 in the comments, and I will see about getting those photos from Sarah, and
We'll have to find some. Yeah.
we will start putting them out on X and Instagram so you can see our handiwork. All right. Well, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in your day. And remember that you are loved. Bye, Hearties.
Bye.